Could I call Congress to order? Welcome. Welcome to all of you to Brighton. We will now move on to the traditional opening of Congress, which is the wonderful banner ceremony. This year, North West and Irish Region will be forming the banner party. The Race Network and the Retired Members Association banners will also form part of the procession this year. And the music for this year's ceremony will be Bob Marley and the Wailers, Get Up, Stand Up. I call Congress to order for the opening ceremony. Congress, please stand to greet the national banner.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold. Half the story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. And now you see the light, you stand up for your rights. Yeah.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold. Half the story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. And now you see the light, you stand up for your rights. Yeah,
Get up, stand up,
yeah, yeah.
stand up for your right. Get up, stand up,
Get up, stand up.
don't give up the fight.
Life is your right,
Get up, stand
so
up,
we can't give up the fight.
stand up for your right.
Lord, Lord,
Get up, stand
away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours on earth. And now when you see the light, you stand up for your rights. Yeah.
Get up, stand up,
Yeah, yeah.
stand up for your right. Get up, stand up,
Get up, stand up.
don't give up the fight.
Life is your right,
Get up, stand
so
up,
we can't give up the fight.
stand up for your right.
Lord, Lord,
Get up, stand up,
keep us traveling on.
don't give up the fight.
Yeah. We're sick and tired of your ism, schism, game, dying to go to heaven.
Thank you. Thank you to all those people with the banners. It's such a moving start to Congress, and even the General Secretary is bobbing away to the music there. So I now call on Congress to stand in silence as a mark of respect for departed GMB colleagues. Names will be shown on the screen, and a copy of the obituary list is on page 10 of the Congress Guide. Please stand if you are able. Thank you. They may be gone as part of our GMB family, but they will never be forgotten. I've just got to give out some safety procedures first. You will find details of the emergency procedures for the venue in the Congress Guide document on page 6, and this includes the fire evacuation procedure. Meeting room 14 has been allocated as a prayer room, which is at the back of Brighton Centre, but can be accessed via the lift through the syndicate wing. Regions also have more information and the address for the Al Medina Mosque in the red baskets. Welcome, delegates and visitors. I hope you all had safe journeys here. We have got many new delegates this year and some familiar faces. Before I introduce the platform party, Congress will need to agree on the position of Honorary Vice Chair, who will assist me in chairing Congress throughout the week. As you may be aware, we currently have a vacancy for Vice President, a vacancy which should be filled this week and take up office once Congress has closed on Thursday. Congress, on the 23rd of April 2025, the CEC amended their bylaw, adopted in October 2024, that created the position of Honorary Vice Chair. The CEC's decision was to remove the clause preventing the Honorary Vice Chair from chairing Congress so that Malcolm Sage can assist the National President in co-chairing Congress this week. The CEC is therefore proposing to you, Congress, that you also agree that Malcolm assists me this week in co-chairing Congress. In order for us to progress with the week's business, I would like to put that proposal to the vote. This is a vote for delegates only. If you do not have delegate written on your credentials, you are not permitted to vote. All those in favour of the position of Honorary Vice Chair for Congress 2025, held by Malcolm Sage, please show. Thank you. I think that was unanimous. I don't think anybody's against. No, thank you very much. Malcolm, welcome to the chair. I would now like to introduce the members of the Platform Party. So, as you've just voted, Malcolm Sage, Honorary Vice Chair, and Gary Smith, General Secretary and Treasurer. Throughout the week, we will be joined by members of the CC and Regional Secretaries, as well as the Research and Policy team, who will be assisting with the agenda, and other members of GMB staff assisting with Congress. Could I please welcome the following members of GMB staff and all organisations who help make Congress run and be inclusive. Our General Member Auditors, who will be supervising counting of votes, are Jane Davis, North Western Irish Region, Kevin Fox, North East Yorkshire and Humber Region, Stephen Horton, Midland Region. And joining this year to record Congress as our verbatim shorthand writer is Mary Krell. Welcome, Mary. She's down there. This year, we also are joined by sign language interpreters from Interpreting Matters. Please welcome Karen Green, Helen Fawkes, and Benjamin Gorman. Sorry, there's a long list of people to thank, but it's only right that we do. I would also like to welcome and thank the live subtitle writers from Interpreting Matters, who will be providing this service remotely. And thanks also must go to the team at the Brighton Centre, working under our event manager at the Centre, Michael Kerman-Markham. Thank you to all the Centre staff who have laid out the room and are stewarding, catering, and making sure we are all welcome. Malcolm has worked with GMB on many congresses over the years, but this will be his last event, as he will be retiring. So thank you, Michael. Other suppliers I'd like to thank as well are Exhibit World, U2 Events, Full Spectrum Printers, and of course, Pellecraft. Without these organisations, we wouldn't have Congress running quite so smoothly. And of course, a big thanks to Gary Messier and T5 Event Media, who provide all our staging and PA equipment in the main hall and fringes to make sure Congress really looks and feels like it always does. Most importantly, could I extend a warm welcome to all first-time delegates, and welcome, and welcome back all delegates who we haven't seen in many years in person. As you know, a motion was unanimously passed at our Congress in 2017 in support of the total eclipse of the Sun campaign on banning the Sun newspaper from all GMB buildings, GMB conferences, and all GMB meetings. This paper remains hostile to our movement, and we shall never forget the suffering it's caused and still causes through its lies and misreporting. Could I also remind delegates that all Congress sessions are transmitted live on the GMB website and YouTube. Please ensure that you refrain from using inappropriate language and from making personal attacks on staff or any other individuals while you make your speeches. Make sure you remember to say your name and region clearly for the verbatim record, and so we all get to know each other. Please also mention if you are a first-time speaker, because you will get a big round of applause. Delegates will be able to find all the important documents for the week in your delegates' pact, which should include the one-page delegate outline programme and order of business, income and expenditure report, and the final agenda and Congress guide. This document gives you information on Congress motions, CEC rule amendments, SOC guidelines for Congress business, including time limits for speakers, Standing Orders Committee report number 1, representation statements for Congress, composite motions, fringe meetings, exhibitions and seating plan. If there are any changes to business, then on the timetable, I will give you advance warning. Sorry, there's a lot of information to be given out at the very beginning of the Congress. Would all regional secretaries please notify the Congress office of any changes to your delegation? Please use the email address for the Congress office as the first port of call for any issues. The names of all regional tellers are on page 4 of the Congress guide, and all tellers must remain in the hall whilst Congress is in session, and delegates must be in their allotted seats when or if a vote is taken. To see if you are eligible to vote, as I said, please look down at your Congress credential. If it says the word delegate on it, then you can vote. All others in the hall are not eligible to vote. We now move on to standing orders. And could I congratulate Karen Dudley on her election as chair of the Standing Orders Committee for the 3rd time. Well done, Karen, and best of luck. The names of members of the Standing Orders Committee are on page 27 of your final agenda. And I'd also like to remind Congress that the Standing Orders Committee is made up of Congress delegates, each elected by your own delegation. They are your colleagues and work to ensure that Congress runs to preserve our debate and democracy in this hall. I now call Karen Dudley, Chair of the SOC, to move Standing Orders Committee Report number 1, which is on page 22 of your final agenda.
President, Congress, Karen Dudley, London Region, Standing Orders Committee Chair, formally moving SOC Report number 1. President, Congress, you'll find a copy of the SOC Report number 1 in your final agenda, starting at page 22. I formally move adoption of that report, and in doing so, would colleagues please note the long-standing guidelines for Congress business on page 17 of your final agenda. This will help all of you, especially new delegates, in understanding the procedures and the guidelines that the President and the SOC work to. A copy of the SOC report on behalf of the SOC will be issued to delegates later today, and any further SOC reports will be issued to delegates during the course of the week. I hope this will assist everyone in being able to keep track of decisions such as withdrawn motions. Withdrawn motions. The SOC has been informed that a number of motions and rule amendments have been withdrawn since the printing of the final agenda. And I will read these out now, and we will issue a list later today so that you can keep track on the agenda. There are a number, and I will deal with them by region to save repetition. So the list of withdrawn motions and rule amendments. From London Region, Motion 68, engagement with anti-fascist groups. Motion 159, complaints against school support staff. Motion 187, National Health Service. Motion 214, threat to British steel, support for a steel alternative industry. Motion 233, Workers' Agenda, keeping our government accountable. Motion 235, heating for the elderly and the vulnerable by capping payments. Motion 259, increase for Thames Water customer bills. Motion 282, winter fuel allowance. Motion 287, international trade and the EU. Motion 289, Gaza, Israel and the Middle East. Motion 291, genocide in Gaza. Motion 292, trade union support for Palestine. Rule Amendment 297, Rule Amendment 318, Rule Amendment 321, Rule Amendment 328, Rule Amendment 334, Rule Amendment 335, and Rule Amendment 338. Midlands Region, Motion 1, Standing Orders Committee Reserved Places. Motion 212, Steel Council. Motion 213, Steel Council, Scunthorpe, Port Talbot. Motion 220, Labour Party Conference. Motion 230, Repealing Closure Acts. Motion 265, Call for Action on Global Climate Emergency. North East Yorkshire and Humber Region. Motion 14, Environmental Matters to the Standard Agenda. Motion 95, Work-related stress to be an industrial injury if proven. Motion 172, Rebuild the NHS. Motion 217, GMB and the Labour Government. Rule Amendment 301. Northwestern Irish Region. Motion 32, reinstate the 10% branch commission. Motion 59, mandatory yearly EDI training for all GMB representatives, conveners and officers. Motion 60, mandatory biannual equality, diversity, inclusion, EDI, for every staff member and representatives of the GMB. Motion 67, combating Islamophobia and Muslim hate. Motion 224, stopping Reform UK. Motion 264, transition. Rule Amendment 322, Rule Amendment 324, GMB Scotland, Rule Amendment 320. Southern Region, Motion 8, restoring dignity. Motion 10, end unspecified hours contracts. We must practice what we preach. Motion 31, assistant branch secretary roles. Motion 70, young workers. Motion 181, equal annual leave across pay grades. Motion 182, single item pay negotiations for higher education. Motion 218, changing political landscape. Motion 296, veto power no more, empower the General Assembly. Rule Amendment 304, Rule Amendment 305, Rule Amendment 306, Rule Amendment 307, Rule Amendment 308, Rule Amendment 309, Rule Amendment 310, Rule Amendment 312, Rule Amendment 313, Rule Amendment 314, Rule Amendment 326, Rule Amendment 332. Wales and South West Region. Motion 281, loss of winter fuel payments. Motion 290, Gaza, Israel and the Middle East. Composition Motion 12 and Composite Motion and 13 are withdrawn. Right. Would Congress delegates please note that if any further Congress motions are to be withdrawn during the week, then please advise your regional secretary, who then in turn can inform the SOC. Agreed composite motions. The SOC would like to thank delegates and their regional secretaries for for agreeing now 14 composite motions that also appear in your final agenda, starting from page 164. Congress, there are 4 agreed composite motions where more than 2 regions are involved. They are Composite 2, Comprehensive Mental Health and Welfare Support for GMB Representatives, Composite 3, GMB Reps Induction Day and Training, Composite 5, Better Workplace Rights and Protection for Workers Undergoing IVF and Fertility Treatment, Composite 8, Number of Private Hire Vehicle Licence, National Standards and the Deregulation Impact on Private Hire and Hackney Trade. The SOC is recommending that each of the region, besides the movers and seconders in those composites, should still have the opportunity to speak on the composite if they so wish. This is by way of an exception to Motion 8, Speakers on Motions, carried at Congress in 2018, which limits speakers and movers, limits the speakers to the mover and seconders where a motion is unopposed. Existing policy motions. Congress, in accordance with Congress decisions adopted since 2008, the SOC is recommending that motions which are existing policies are endorsed by Congress without the need for debate, following advice from the CEC on the particular motions in question. The existing policy motions are listed in SOC Report Number 1 at page 24 of your final agenda. There is one further motion to be included in the list of existing policy motion, and that is Motion 90, 100% paternity pay from London Region. You may also find it helpful to refer to the detailed report from the CEC, which is at page 183 of your final agenda. The letters EP also appears by the side of each such motion in the final agenda. Motion and rule amendments out of order. Congress, the SOC has ruled that there are 9 motions remaining on the agenda that are out of order for debate. First, there is one motion that would require a rule amendment to give effect to the provisions, but no rule amendment has been submitted, and this is Motion 44, Debt Support for Members. Second, there are 8 motions which are about industrial strategy and are matters for the GMB members in those areas and the relevant GMB committees, and are not policy matters for Congress. They are Motion 136, Uber drivers' pay, Motion 137, Stop roll-up holiday pay, Motion 152, British Medical Association, Motion 166, End unfair discrimination against ambulance workers, Motion 185, NHS lone working staff, Motion 188, Sickness and Absent Policy, NHS Trusts, Motion 190, subsidised lunchtime for teaching assistants and support staff, and Motion 193, Pandemic Recognition for All. Further details of the out-of-order motions which have not been withdrawn are contained in your final agenda at page 22. President, Congress, I formally move adoption of SOC Report Number 1.
Thank you, Karen. Is there any delegate who wishes to speak on any of the SOC's recommendations? Can you make sure you clearly say which motion or rule amendment then you are wanting to reference back, please?
For short people. Morning. President, Congress, Cathy Holland, London Region. speaking on motion 185. While I welcome the CEC statement on the NHS, it does not address many staff concerns on the safety of lone working in the community, from ambulance workers to mental health workers and nurses who work in the community. For patients' and workers' protection, we would welcome body-worn cameras that would help with disputes between workers and patients. Both staff and patients, please support this motion for debating.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Karen, you have the right to respond.
Taller person. President Congress, responding to the challenge from SOC report number 1 on motion 185, NHS lone working staff. Motion 185 is out of order because it deals with the use of body cameras for NHS staff working in the community, which should be dealt with solely by the members in those areas through their industrial structures and not through Congress.
Thank you. Are you coming to make a reference back as well? Okay. Can you make clearly which motion or rule amendment you want reference back?
Morning, Congress. Number 44, I'm contesting because our members are leaving us. They are in debt. Then they come back to us. But we cannot we can only give them advice. We cannot support them in a disciplinary. So I'd like to see this going forward. Thank you.
Could you just could you just repeat for me which one it is your
44.
Motion 44.
Yep.
Thank you. Yep, you've got the right to respond as well, Karen.
Again, motion 44, debt support for members. Motion 44 is out of order because it proposes a new benefit for members but does not put forward a rule amendment, and benefits are set out in rules 48 to 57.
Thank you, Karen. Any others? Anybody else from any other? Okay, in that case, we've got the two motions that have been asked to be referenced back. I'll take a vote on each one of those. So all those in favour of motion 185 being referenced back and put back into the debate, please show. All those against? I think that's put back in. Thank you. And then motion 44, all those in favour of it being put back into the debate, please show. Can you put your hands clearly up, please? Thank you. And then all those against? That's one's lost. Thank you very much. I now put the rest of the SOC report to Congress. All those in favour of the SO report number 1, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? That's carried. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Congress. These are the rules you have adopted for the conduct of Congress for the coming week.
Colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to call on our President, Barbara Plant, to address Congress. Thank you.
Friends, colleagues, comrades, as always, it's an incredible privilege to stand here as your GMB National President. It's an amazing role where I get to represent you and hundreds of thousands of wonderful GMB members, speaking at rallies and marches, meeting with leaders and senior politicians. But no matter where I find myself, I never forget who I am and why I'm here. I'm from South London, a long-serving teaching assistant, a proud GMB member. And just like you, the best of our union, I fight every day to deliver our mission, to make work better for our members. One of the many wonderful things that I get to do as president is open our annual gathering. So on behalf of everyone in our great union, welcome to GMB Congress 2025. There are so many wonderful people in this room. GMB people who have travelled the length and breadth of the UK and Ireland. As delegates, we have the honour of being sent to Brighton to represent GMB members, the hard-working women and men who come together in this great union to make in search of a better world of work. That's a very special thing. If you're a new delegate, you're about to experience a fascinating few days. I'm sure you're as excited to be here as I am. It's my 6th Congress as president, and the buzz of being with everyone and driving our union forward is as fresh today as it was when I first took the helm. I suspect you may be a little bit nervous at the thought of making a speech. Well, don't worry, we all are, no matter how long we've been coming. But be assured, we are a welcoming, respectful, inclusive union, and Congress is a perfect demonstration of what makes us great. To everyone here, let's show, I know we've done it already, but let's show our new delegates how welcome they are in our GMB family. And to everyone who has been before, I simply say, thank you. Thank you for your continued commitment. Thank you for your activism. Thank you for being the very best of GMB. Congress is about debate, opinion, policy, but it's also where we come together as colleagues and leave as lifetime friends. This year, Congress is taking place during Eid, and I want to say a big thank you and very best wishes to our Muslim sisters and brothers who are here at this special time. Friends, it's only been a couple of years since our last visit to the Sussex seaside, but much has changed in the world. The Tories have been kicked out of power. Yes. You're not going to clap the next bit. Donald Trump is back in the White House. But the most earth-shattering news is that my beloved Crystal Palace won the FA Cup. Great news for us Palace fans, but not something that will go down too well in this town. Sorry, I had to get that into my speech. Since Congress last year, I've travelled around the UK to visit workplaces, talk to members, and taken part in GMB events. I've seen the changes our people are dealing with. I hear it in their stories. Increasing pressures, more demands, less time, greater responsibilities, more often than not, without better pay or improved living standards. The world of work is changing, but our battles remain constant. In North East Yorkshire and Humber region, I met with our reps and members working at the Renault factory in Northumberland, a company that makes high-quality plastic films and products. Outside the council building in Birmingham, I stood alongside the amazing GMB women, striking for equal pay. I witnessed firsthand their rage, but also the courage and inspiring dignity of their action. My congratulations go to everyone in Midlands region for what they are achieving here. Meeting Labour Party staff who are members of London Region was insightful. London Region has done so much to recruit and organise people who are just like our members everywhere, concerned about pay, conditions, job security, Well done, London Region, for building such a strong branch. Last November, I was invited to attend the end-of-year GMB Scotland Regional Committee meeting and hear firsthand the views of our lay leaders. And in my region, Southern, I've kept very much in touch with support staff, visiting and recruiting members in schools. Southern has a huge school support staff membership, and great credit goes to all the team for their work. It was in Southern Region that I spent time last July at the Tolpuddle Festival, where I represented GMB in laying a wreath in memory of the trade union martyrs who fought for their rights in the toughest of times. In Wales and South West, I joined their Equality Conference and their recent Women's Conference. Both were great learning opportunities for members who attended. We all came away from the Equality Conference having learnt some basic sign language. And in North West and Irish region, it was a privilege to meet so many inspirational women in our union on the Women in Leadership programme. Being president means you are often GMB's ambassador, the public face of our great union. In the last year alone, this has taken me to Tolpuddle, the Cradley Heath Chainmakers Festival, the Durham Miners Gala, and many more events. I've spoken in solidarity with Ukraine on the anniversary of the Russian invasion, and I've been GMB's voice at key moments, at TUC Congress, Labour Party Conference, in Parliament, or direct to Cabinet members. At all times, I never forget why I'm there. For GMB members. Congress, it is up to us to organise, campaign and assert our own power to make work better. But we also know what it's like when the political wind is blowing hard against us. Congress, this is the first GMB Congress under a Labour government since 2009. Our members suffered hugely under the Tories. Their anti-union laws, austerity, the cost of living crisis, partying the night away in number 10, while GMB members were risking and some losing their lives during COVID. We voted for change. The Employment Rights Bill, with the restoration of the school support staff negotiating body, is huge. I sat on the SSMB when it was first set up in 2009, before its cancellation by Tory Michael Gove. I am so proud that because of efforts by GMB and sister unions in the movement, the SSMB is back under a Labour government. There is also good news on many other areas too, not least an end to the disgusting practice of fire and rehire, and that's something to celebrate. But we also need to be honest with Labour. We are not happy with other things you are doing. The winter fuel allowance, failing WASPy women, cutting welfare support. We voted for change, and Labour needs to deliver it. The country is desperate for hope. Last year, we saw the worst of what happens when hate runs free. Riots, violence, criminality, targeting people from elsewhere. People who looked a certain way, a different colour, different race, different religion. We will challenge those who spread dismay and division. We will organise, show unity, offer a better way. Together, our hope will beat their hate. Our union has faced into our own issues. We have shown the courage to lead, the courage to change. The last 7 years have seen some of the most challenging times in our history. The Monaghan report meant we had to take a long, hard look at ourselves. The Henry report, dormant since 2002, showed that we had to face some hard realities. I am proud that it is our generation of GMB that has come together to face these challenges, and I pay tribute to the members of the current and past CEC for their courage and commitment, for taking the tough, necessary decisions that have saved our union and put us on the right path for the future. And great credit too must go to Gary as our General Secretary and the senior leadership team for standing up to the task that we have set them. There is more to do. The fight for better never stops. But let's recognise how far we've come. We are a growing union again. We are a campaigning union again. We are a winning union again. After last year's Congress, delegates gave their feedback. Here are just some of their comments. It was a brilliant experience and I feel really involved in the union. My overall experience of the whole week was far beyond anything I could have imagined. Everyone was friendly, just like being a member of a family. Congress, during this week, let's show the world we are at our dynamic, energetic best, where we all do our bit for GMB members, where your feedback will be even better than last year. Together, we have done so much. We are a better, stronger union. Let's keep doing what is working. Friends, enjoy Congress 2025. Thank you. Sorry, I'm back in the chair. Okay. Congress, before we begin our first debate, I would like to explain a few points of procedure. Please listen carefully. To save time, I will take motions in groups. Your session programme will show the grouping. If you are speaking on any of these motions, you must register the number on your delegate pass at the desk in front before going to the chairs here in front of the rostrum ready to speak. Please make sure that you do this every time you speak. We will have changeovers of staff at that desk. I will call movers and seconders, and in line with motion 8 carried at Congress 2018, I will not be calling for additional supporting speakers on motions, only delegates who want to speak in opposition. If you are moving a motion without the support of your region, you must declare it at the beginning of your moving speech. Where the CEC is supporting a motion, I will advise Congress. And where the CEC has any other position, a member of the CEC will give the reasons for that decision. We will then move to a vote of all the motions in that group, either as one or individually. I will make sure to repeat this throughout the week, because I know it's a lot to take in, especially for first-time delegates. But when voting, you are voting for the motion, not the CEC stance. The CEC stance advises Congress on how it may wish to vote. For example, if the CEC is to support a motion, it is advising Congress to vote for the motion. Or if the CEC stance is to oppose a motion, it is advising Congress to vote against the motion. On special reports and statements, the CEC will have moving and seconding speakers. I will then invite one delegate from each region to speak on the report or statement at that time. Motions relating to special reports or statements that remain on the agenda will be debated, and I'll advise Congress on the voting process during those sessions. When it comes to moving and seconding your motions, delegates will see a light on the right-hand side of the rostrum when they speak. When the light turns yellow, this means that delegates have 30 seconds left to finish their speech. After those 30 seconds, the light will turn red. And if you are still speaking when the light turns red, you will be encouraged to wrap up or will be cut off. Most importantly, practice your speeches, keep to time, and have fun. Finally, could I remind Congress that as you have voted in SSC Report number 1, all existing policy motions will be carried without debate, and those motions that are out of order will not be debated. We will now be debating our first motions of the week. That's Union, Organisation, Congress and General. Could the movers and seconders please be ready for motions 6, 11, 13 and 14. If you could make your way down to the front seats, please. Could I ask the mover of... Nope, sorry, no 14. My apologies. Could I ask the mover of motion 6, please?
Good morning, Congress. GS looks surprised. Anyway, of course, we'll continue dialogue. President Congress, Charles Ajay, GMB Southern Region, moving motion 6, regional and national secretaries recruitment and appointment process. Comrades, as you will be aware or noticed on the final agenda of Congress, the regional secretary's position is listed as interim. This is because we found ourselves as a union with a proper, or without, I should say, a proper process in place, as the one approved by Congress in 2015 has either been changed or diluted subsequently in Southern Region's opinion. The CEC commissioned a review of the process by HR in either 2022 or 23. The review appears to have drifted with no definite date for its completion. Therefore, there is ambiguity with which process to be followed, which has led, again, in Southern Region's position, the situation that we find ourselves. We appreciate the Monahan report and the fact that a light touch review is being carried out, but our fear is that it may not necessarily deal with the issues or points outlined in the motion. We therefore obviously need some guarantees that these would be, in terms of the points in the motion, would be looked at with a clear time frame set out for completion of the HR review, as it is still ongoing for some years now. I'd like to place our thanks to London Region for their support and assistance with the current interim arrangements. I move. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Seconder.
Good morning, Congress. Andy Newman, Southern Region, seconding motion 6. This is really quite simple, Congress. In the bad old days in this union, regions selected their own regional secretaries with no input from anyone else. And some of the regional secretaries recruited were brilliant. Many of them were very good. 1 or 2 were duffers, but all of them were men. And when that was reviewed, in 2015, the Women's Task Force report at the Dublin Congress, it brought in an improvement that the selection panel will be half from the region and half from the CEC. That improved things. We've now got a load of brilliant women regional secretaries. That's progress. But there is an anomaly that obviously the CEC people shouldn't come from the same region. And what we're looking for the review is that if the president comes from your own region, actually you can end up with 4 from your own region and 2 from the CEC, not from the region. Now, this is certainly no criticism of Barbara, and it's no criticism of Gary. I think, you know, that this is just an opportunity for an improvement that actually we believe that the CEC people should not be from the region. This is an opportunity for improvement, and I think, you know, thank you for Gary and for London Region in helping Southern Region through the difficult times we've had. And we've had some difficult conversations, but as always with the GMB, we all work together. We speak frankly, but we've all got the same aim, which is to work for our members and to get the best result for our union. Please support the motion.
Thank you, Andy. Mover of motion 11, please. No? Southern? That's Southern Region again. Motion 11, it will fall if nobody to speak on it. Okay, that falls. Mover from Southern Region for motion 13, please.
Good morning, President. Good morning, Congress. Marzena Sporowska-Haget, Southern Region, Merton Branch. Motion 13, increase in activist email storage capacity. Congress, I raise today as a mover of this motion, not just on behalf of my branch or region, but on behalf of every dedicated activist who serves this union. We are expected to be responsive. We are expected to organize. We are expected to support members, often at the moment notice. And yet we are doing this vital work with email accounts that have just 2 gigabytes of storage. That's not even enough to hold the files for a few grievance or disciplinary cases. To put that into perspective, a free Gmail or Outlook account gives you 15 gigabytes for free. Many of our employers, like councils, give their staff 100 giga or more. We, as GMB activists, are working with 2 gigabytes. Colleagues, let me tell you what that means in practice. It means spending up to 2 hours every week clearing out old emails, deleting attachments, backing things up manually, trying not to lose important member case files in the process. That is 2 hours I could spend representing a member. That time should be spent preparing for negotiations or checking in on reps. Instead, it's being wasted on digital admin just to make space for 1 more incoming grievance. This is not just inconvenient, this is demoralizing and frustrating. And what's more, it reflects an outdated view of how we work. A few years ago, most of our communication was done by posts. Letters were sent, documents filed in ring binders, and emails was secondary. But now, 99% of our communications is via email. It's our primary tool, our digital workplace. And if the union expects us to do a professional job, and we do, it must provide professional tools. We are not asking for the word. We are asking for realistic, modern, functioning email system with adequate storage. Something that meets the needs of today, not 10 years ago. Congress, we are volunteers. Let me repeat that. We are volunteers. We give our time freely to support members when they need us most. We don't ask for much, but we do need the basics to be in place so that we can do our job well. So today, I ask Congress to support this motion, to acknowledge that 2 gigabytes is not good enough, to recognize the impact this has on your fellow activists, and to move forward technologically and practically by investing in the tools that allows us to serve members more effectively. Support this motion, support your activists, support your volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you, Marzena. Seconder.
Madam President, fellow delegates, today I stand before you to second the motion that was just read to address the issue that affect our daily operation as a union representative, and by extension, the quality of service we provide to our members. I am speaking about the urgent needs for increased email storage. Capacity for our union representative in the role of communication is a key representative of our backbone of our representative, or the backbone of our union. Handling a vast amount of email every day, these emails are not just simple messages, they are the lifeblood of our operation. They include a vital communication with members, documents, and grievance in critical. These are the issues that we are facing. One of the problems that we are having with the email is that we receive email from employer, we receive email from the region, we also receive a CC email from our members, and we have to store this information. Given that we have to come with so much attachment, it is very difficult for us to scrutinize, and when a vital document is being left out, it's also a data protection issue because we cannot find it. So I'm just urging everybody to support it, this motion. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to any of these motions? Okay, come up. Clearly say which one it is you're speaking in opposition to, please.
Chair, Congress, Kirsty Wrigley, GMB Scotland, speaking against motion 6. Congress, the Women's Task Force introduced changes to the election of regional secretaries and national officers. Since then, our union has made incredible progress in putting in a fairer process, resulting in the appointment of women to leadership roles across the country, including Scotland, where we have our first female Scotland secretary, boss. We should not underestimate this achievement, but celebrate it. Don't understate it, celebrate it. This demonstrates that we have not only understood the lessons of the Monaghan Report, but acted upon them. To be clear, the process of appointments currently in place was in direct response to the recommendations of our Women's Task Force. And it's disappointing to read the motion claims the current process is diluted or fudged, especially when it is also overseen by an external independent barrister. This is robust and fair. The previous process was outdated and not in keeping with the vision of a modern and fair union we aspire to build. It would not be reasonable for our union to claim to have understood and acted upon the findings of the Monaghan Report and then revert back. Congress, finalising the new process is important work, and it requires time to do so correctly. We should not try to rush it, but have confidence that it is being given the attention it deserves. Congress, please oppose the motion.
Thank you. Charles, you do get the right of reply.
Thank you, Madam President. President Congress Charles Ajay. I, responding to the comments made by Scotland, no one is saying that the system is, the 2015 one is broken. If, as she claims, that it's working okay, why did the CEC commission a review? We are representatives, we represent people in the workplace. We put management under tremendous pressure. Why has it taken 2 or 3 years to review a review that's been commissioned by the CEC. That's what we're calling for, that it should be dealt with as quickly as possible. So if it ain't broken, why fix it? You could ask yourself the question, why did the CEC ask for a HR review? We're not saying Monaghan is broken. We're not saying that at all. If the system is working, so why have we got this stalemate in my region? Why? Yes, we've got women regional secretaries. That's fantastic. Now, we welcome that. We're not saying that there's a problem with Monaghan. We're saying that why has it taken so long to review and to have a proper system in place? So the system is clearly broken somewhere. And that's why the CEC obviously has asked for a review. And I think the question that needs to be asked is that why has it taken HR up to now not to complete a review? You know, you won't accept it in your workplaces if management is doing that. So why should we accept it in our region? And again, our thanks to London Region, and obviously the General Secretary, for ensuring that, you know, Southern Region has something in place. So that's what we're talking about. So we should be clear in terms of the points in the motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Can I ask Linda Carr-Pollock from the CEC to give the CEC response, please?
President Congress, Linda Carr-Pollock, speaking on behalf of the CEC, responding with our stances to motion 6 and 13. On motion 6, regional and national secretaries recruitment and appointment process from Southern Region, the CEC is asking that the region accepts reference back. We have implemented Monaghan and the recommendations from the Women's Project 2015 Congress report. We want to refer this motion to review additional learnings in the years since we adopted the Monaghan report, taking into consideration the views in the motion. Congress heard, debated and voted on 3 reports to Congress on our progress on Monaghan in the years 2021, 2022 and 2023. In addition, Karen Monaghan is currently conducting a review of progress and implementation. On motion 13, increase in activist email storage capacity, the CEC is asking for this motion to be withdrawn. We recognise the importance of storing member documents for cases and sympathetic to the issues raised in the motion. Presently, we are unable to extend the capacity of the mailbox without adding significant costs onto our union. Activists who have GMB accounts must make use of their OneDrive as efficiently as possible and also contact the IT team should they need any assistance. Delegates, thank you for the opening debates of this Congress. I will sum up the CEC positions on this set of motions. For motion 6, we are asking that Southern Region agrees to refer and withdraw motion 13. If the region does not agree, we will ask Congress to oppose the motions. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Before I go to the vote, can I just make sure that movers and seconders are down the front for Composite 1 and motions 18 and 19, please? Okay, so motion 11 fell, motion 14 has been withdrawn. Motion 6, Southern Region, do you accept the reference back? They do? Okay, but because there's been opposition, I will have to put that motion to the vote, that you also accept it to be referred back. That's the way it works. Okay, so the Congress, all those in favour of the motion, please show. No, all those in favour of referring it, please show. Thank you. All those against? Thank you. That will be referred. Southern Region, do you agree to withdraw your motion? No? Okay. Then obviously the CC are asking you to oppose. So all those in favour of the motion, please show. Thank you. All those against? That's carried. Thank you. So can I have the mover of Composite 1, please? Thank you.
Morning, President, Congress. My name's Pete and I'm from the South End branch, which is part of London Region. It's my first time speaking here because I'm a first-time delegate. Thank you. The motion I bring here to you today is very simple. As a union, we must close all our accounts on X and encourage its employers to do the same. Now, when I wrote this back in January, I had no idea it would be such a topical subject for today. But I was also so angry that Elon Musk had just called Jess Phillips a rape apologist. I was so angry that he called for us people of the UK to be liberated from our own government. And I was so angry that he called for Tommy Robinson to be released. But since then, the situation has only worsened and X has become a cesspit of far-right extremism. And Musk isn't just tolerating this, he's actively promoting it. Only last month, we marked 80 years since the defeat of fascism in Europe. And yet, there was Musk speaking at a rally of the AfD, the German far-right extremist party, telling them to move beyond Nazi guilt. Days later in the US, he gave not one but 2 Nazi salutes. Now, a lot of people try and deny what we all saw with our own eyes, and we know exactly what he meant. Elon Musk, until a week or so ago, was heading up something called DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. But really, it should have been called the Department of Punching Down. The world's richest man was using his wealth and influence not to lift people up, but to crush the poor, the vulnerable, the marginalised, and workers like us. He's attacked trade unions, sacked workers with no notice, ignored employment rights entirely. One story which really hit a chord with me was when Musk ended free and subsidised medication for retired federal workers. A cancer patient in the US, someone on a pension, went from paying $25 a month to over $2,000 a month for treatment I receive free in our wonderful NHS for the same cancer. This is callous and obscene. He's promoted hate against any vulnerable or diverse group he can target. I would say minority groups, but really we're talking about the global majority here. And his dismantling of the USAID, removing aid from numerous projects worldwide under his directions already cost thousands of lives, with tens of thousands more projected. That blood is on his hands. If we stay on X, we lend legitimacy to this man and the toxic ideologies he amplifies, and those ideologies are the very opposite of what our union stands for. If we join this exodus, we get to remove the metaphorical oxygen he so craves. We also hit him where it hurts, in his wallet. And can I just say, for all of you who have so far resisted buying a Tesla, keep up the good work. This motion is not about silencing free speech. It's about rejecting hate speech. As a union, if we are to stay true to our core values of equality, solidarity and dignity, we cannot continue to support a platform owned and operated by a man who is clearly far right and working to dismantle everything movements like ours have fought for. Congress, I urge you to stand up for what's right. Support this motion and let's just log off for good. Thank you.
Well done, Pete. Can we have the seconder, please?
President, Congress, Ross MacArthur, GMB Scotland, seconding composite number 1. Congress, the spread of information online is clear for us all to see. Has been used as a tool for the far right to spread rumours, racism and discrimination against groups that they want to blame for the society's ills. Social media has long been synonymous with misinformation, but since the takeover of Twitter, now X, by Elon Musk, it is used by the far right to spread misinformation, which has accelerated so much so that you can now spend 2 minutes on the platforms without coming across discrimination or unreliable content. It has supported the election of far-right figures across the world, It's encouraged violence and abuse against minority groups here at home. This is not speech, it's hate and a very real threat. This is directly contrary to the values of our union and the trade union movement. But without a presence on X, we will not be able to combat that discrimination and misinformation. We have to be in these spaces to call it out head on. But this is neither a silver bullet. Organising against the far right should always be our priority. As a union, we have to be able to effectively communicate with our membership, and to do that, we have to be where our members are so we can tell the members' stories, show workers there is an alternative to hate and counter misinformation. That can't come at a cost. We can't continue to indefinitely prop up Elon Musk and the X platform. We should use alternatives like Blue Sky. Congress, please support this composite. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Can I have the move of motion 18, please?
President Congress, Annette Riley, GMB Scotland, moving motion 18 on supporting the e-disadvantaged. Congress, who would you say are e-disadvantaged? The young, the elderly, the disabled person? The answer is all of society. How many have seen their local bank branch close? The only branch in my village closed a number of years ago, with all the customers being moved to a branch 2 miles away, which subsequently closed a year later, forcing all their clients to go to another branch 6 miles away. Change banks, people say, but they're all the same. They're closing branches left, right and centre. I'm lucky. I have a free cash line machine in my village. Many don't, but why should we have to pay to access our own money? Digital banking. How many of you have been forced to go digital? How many don't have the technology to access it? In this world where smartphones and tablets are prolific, how many can't use them? Don't have the funds to purchase them, let alone have the money to pay for internet. The most vulnerable in our society may have access but are unable to use them, leaving them open to financial abuse by someone who is supposed to be supporting by caring for them. And we've all heard the horror stories of financial abuse. Shopping. All of us need to purchase goods, whether it's groceries, clothes or household goods. Most of all, of which are now cashless. Those then can't afford to go out socially are also facing a cashless society. Some time ago at the TUC in Liverpool, the hotel that we were in was totally cashless. Some members who are neurodivergent can only work with cash, not cashless, to ensure that they are in control with their finances. I therefore ask Congress to support the e-disadvantaged members by not booking venues and/or hotels where possible that are necessary to conduct GMB business that are cashless. Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. Seconder.
Never get used to that. President, Congress, Kirsty Radcliffe, Scotland Region 2nd, motion 18. I rise to speak in strong support of this motion, not out of nostalgia, but out of necessary and fairness. We live in an increasingly digital world. Yes, contactless payments, online banking, mobile apps, they're all convenient for many. But let's be clear, convenience for some should never mean exclusion for others. The reality that many of our members, especially those on low incomes and those in the rural communities, remain cash reliant, whether by choice or due to lack of access to digital tools. They prefer or need to use cash. That preference should not become a barrier to their participation in our union's activities. When we book cashless-only venues or hotels, we send a message, intentional or not, that some members are less welcome, that they must conform to a system that doesn't work for them, rather than us meeting them where they are. That's not solidarity. That's not inclusion. This motion is about practical support for the disadvantaged. It's about making sure all members, regardless of how they pay, can fully engage with our events, meetings and accommodations. And yes, it's about standing up against the creeping normalisation of a cashless society that leaves too many behind. Let's not allow digital convenience to override our core value of fairness, accessibility and inclusion. Let's pass this motion and make a clear statement in the GMB, no member is left behind. Congress, I second.
Brilliant, thank you. Mover of motion 19.
President, Congress, Tony Chollerton, London Region, moving motion 19, an Iron Bevan Day. Congress, the greatest achievement of the labour and trade union movement is the founding of the National Health Service, spearheaded by Nye Bevan. It meant that for the first time in our history that the poorest amongst us could receive life-changing medical care free at the point of delivery. The aim of this motion is to establish the 15th of November as an Iron Bevan Day within GMB and to hold an event in the name of Nye Bevan on the 15th of November 2025. We also call for GMB to promote events commemorating his life and his contribution to the labour movement and to promote the literature and works of Nye Bevan. It's time for GMB to recognise the incredible work of Nye Bevan and to establish Nye Bevan Day. Celebrating this day not only remembers Nye Bevan's achievement, it also says to the country that the NHS exists because of the struggle by Labour and the trade unions to get better treatment for the poor and working class. The Tories would have us believe that they look after the NHS, while the truth is that whenever they are in power, they undermine and underfund the NHS and try to privatise it through the back door for the benefit of the rich. It is in our interest to promote this great achievement and to make everyone aware that only Labour and the trade union movement are the true guardians of the NHS. This motion is supported with a qualification that would involve our sister trade unions. The more an Iron Bevan Day is celebrated, the better, so we accept this qualification. Congress, please support this motion. I move.
Thank you, Tony. Seconder? Formally, thank you. Anybody want to speak in opposition to any of these motions? We've got two. Okay, whoever gets to the Can you make sure you tell us which motion you're opposing clearly, please? Thank you.
President, Congress, David Makuch, Midlands Region, speaking against Composite 1. So as much as I understand and agreeing with everything you said about Elon Musk, I just don't believe that we should leave social media platforms. Don't leave it to far right. We should fight them, not run away from them. If we're gonna leave it, we're not gonna participate in the all the conversations that we have on that platforms. When our kids will join the social media, all they will be exposed as a far-right propaganda, and we don't want that. So I just think fight the fascism, not run away from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Young from the great big North East Yorkshire and Humber region, standing in opposition to Composite 1. Congress, I get it. I get the desire to tell Elon Musk to sod right off. I get why colleagues would want to distance themselves from anything associated with him or his pals. But this isn't about how much I or you or any of us hate Musk, Trump and the mates. It's about making sure we deliver for our members, and that means using every tool available to us so that can change lives for the better. Congress, I loved watching Thursday's meltdown between Trump and Musk. Wasn't it brilliant? Watching two big-eared pillocks trying to take each other down. It had everything you'd expect from a Netflix drama. And where did it mainly happen? Twitter, and hundreds of million people watched along, including me. We're a serious union, and a union that seeks to win. Not for us is posturing, simply to make us feel better about ourselves. We'll leave that to Unison. The reality is that journalists, politicians and policymakers are on Twitter. Blue Sky and so are in very well, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the decision makers are on Twitter, and it's our job to influence them. To remove ourselves from a platform that can do that would be letting our members down and taking away our voice.
Sarah, can you wind up, please?
Got it, yeah. Thank you.
Speaker of Composite 1, Pete, would you like to come back? Right of reply.
Well, I wasn't expecting to get up here twice on my first Congress. I mean, that was great. How do you follow that? Except for, I mean, I think if you've got, we don't have the sun, so why do we have X? We don't buy into, we are funding hate if we're doing that. We can have a staggered withdrawal from X. But if we all start withdrawing, then we just leave them shouting in an empty room. And we are no part of that. We really should not be part of supporting a company owned by that man. Simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you. Colin, can I now ask Colin Gunter to give the CEC reply?
President, Congress, Colin Gunter speaking on behalf of the CEC, responding to Composite 1 and motions 18 and 19. On Composite 1, the CEC appreciates and shares the concern raised by delegates on this matter. Please be assured that the use of X and other social media services has been discussed at CEC meetings this year. The wider movement is just as concerned as us, and GMB is in dialogue with TC unions on the challenges of platforms where hate speech can occur. There's widespread use of social media across the union, so any decision on the use of social media must consider the impact on all parts of GMB. This includes national and regional teams, branches, activists, and members. This matter should be referred for further consideration, working with staff and branches on how we best implement any changes. For information, the union has set up an account on Blue Sky as recommended in the composite. On motion 18, supporting the disadvantaged. The CEC support the sentiments of the motion, and at Blackpool Winter Gardens, where Congress 2026 will be held, is a venue that does not accept cash payment. The question has been raised with other Congress venues, such as Brighton and Bournemouth, but their policies to be cashless venues will not be waived for GMB Congress. We will seek to make our events as accessible as possible and ask for cash options. The CEC's qualification is that if the union is restricted to not booking Congress venues, hotels and meeting venues that have cashless policies, then the number of suitable venues will be massively restricted. There are very suitable venues that can accommodate all our Congress requirements at a reasonable cost to the union. If the qualification is not accepted, the union would lose deposits on all repaid on existing bookings in place for 2027 and 2028, and this would result in having to find venues at very short notice, and the attempting to rebook alternative suitable venues will come at a likely greater expense with no guarantee of accepting cash should venue policies change. Finally, on motion 19, and around Bevan Day, the CEC supports this motion and the call to celebrate the founder of the NHS with two qualifications. Firstly, that Congress allows the CEC to give consideration to what form the event will take and how much that would be in line with budget allocations already agreed for 2025. And secondly, that we should involves sister health unions and the TEC to ensure any event is credible and wide-reaching. Therefore, Congress, the CEC is asking that Composite 1 be referred and motions 18 and 19 be supported with the qualifications I've laid out. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Does London and GMB Scotland agree to refer Composite 1? Yeah, and Scotland as well. But because there was opposition, it's like this one before, I'm going to ask Congress if they agree to refer back as well. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. All those against. Okay, reference back. Does Scotland agree the qualification on motion 18? Thank you. And does London agree in the qualification? I think I heard it in your speech, but just check in. Does London agree the qualification on motion 19? Thank you. I'll put those two to the vote. All those in favour of motion 18, please show. Thank you. All those against? That's carried. All those in favour of motion 19, please show. Thank you. All those against? That's carried. Thank you. Congress, we are now moving to debate our first special report of the week, containing a number of rule amendments put forward by the CEC, as devised by the Rulebook Review Working Group. This group of lay activists have diligently worked through our rulebook to give you the proposals today. Members of the CEC and the Rulebook Review Working Group will be moving and seconding this report. So can I invite Nathal Tate and Carol Clarkson to the stage, and Rostrum, please. Once the report has been moved, I will then invite a delegate from each region, should regions wish to speak on these.
I am a bit vertically challenged, so can we put the stage down a bit more? Thank you very much. Just a bit more. Keep going, so you can see me. Keep going. Keep going. One more. That's it. Okay. Thank you so much. So Nathaniel Tete, President, Congress, comrades, and friends. I am as nervous as everyone else is, so please excuse me as well. If I do make any mistakes, please pull me up on it. But I am nervous. The rule amendments that are brought to you today have been the product of a year's work by the Lay Rule Book Group. Our task was to make our union, our democracy, and the financial management, and its financial management, fit for purpose. As it stood, our rule book was the product of many years of practice, piecemeal revision, where the flow of money through the union and obligations on branches and members and the structures of our lay democracy had begun to fall out of sync with the demands and the realities of the present. On Wednesday, you will hear the results of our deliberations over the management of the GMB finances, but for today, the rule changes before you are for scrutiny and action, primarily to deal with increasing the democracy, participation, and robustness of our great union, making it a fighting, fit union, and arming every member in their place of work to do the very best to do the very best for our union, for our membership. Sorry, you will see before you amendments of rules that are the product of recommendations made by our sister body, the Branch Working Party, which have fed directly into our own ideas and decision-making process over the running, the health, and the inclusivity of our branches. These have been supplemented by ideas directly from branch resolutions placed before us in this rule amendments year. We have not sought to stifle debate, and we have to strike hard topics from our agenda, or indeed to idealize our union's past. As you see, much of this work has been done diligently, crossing all the I's and dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, in order to improve upon the best practice that has already evolved across our 7 regions. This is serious business, and the entire rule book group values and appreciates the trust that our members, the CEC and Congress have placed upon us in order to carry out this vital work. We have attempted as a collective to do our utmost to reflect the voices, the concerns, the vision, and the core commitment of GMB's aims and objectives that run through the text of our rulebook like the fine, unbreakable silver thread. Such aspirations need to be realized, to be grounded in everyday practice, and the praxis that deliver practical results for our members, our branches, and for all our organizational structures across the Union. In this way, we are committed to rationalizing, standardizing practice of bylaws across the Union, drawing in and recording them electronically across from all our regions over a 12-month period, starting at the close of this Congress and for ratification by the CAC. This will tidy up procedures, ensure greater transparency of the GMB's democratic process, enhancing rather than diminishing regional self-government. To this end, we have aimed at making the rules before you clearer, more coherent, less ambiguous, and with the recommendation that the same principles operate at all levels across GMB, committing a first-time joiner, like the one we saw earlier, and speaker indeed, the regional and general secretaries, the hardest veterans of our branch life, to the same rights, protections, and responsibilities in building our industrial power in every workplace across the land. Congress, I thank you for your forbearance, diligence, and oversight of these proposed rule changes. Autocracy is fast and often clinical and easy. Democracy is a slow, painstaking, and founded upon consensus. The rule changes before you are rooted in that spirit of democracy and the sure and certain knowledge that whether small or great, old or new, every GMB member has the same right to participate, to develop, to make their voices heard, and at the end of the day, to help change the world we live in today. Congress, I urge you to adopt the rule changes proposed in this paper. Thank you very much.
Well done, Nathaniel, thank you. And then Carol to second. Oh, so sorry, Carol. Oh.
President, Congress, comrades, friends. Carol Clarkson, seconding the CEC special report on rulebook changes, speaking on behalf of the CEC. It's my pride and privilege to second this package of rule changes that the Lay Rules Book Group is bringing to the GMB Congress. As you have heard already, they are the product of much thought, insight, and sheer hard work. The group has operated this year on a basis of tightening up existing rules. It has been an entirely practical and, I hope, a relatively uncontroversial process. Over the next year, this group intends to look at some of the areas raised by branches' motions submitted, to look at those topics that most concerns members under rule, and to take sounding not just from the experts within the GMB Union, but also from the lay members and representatives across every region of the GMB. Each year since 2022, the Rulebook Group has gained ground in forging our union rulebook as a practical, industrially focused tool that safeguards this union's democracy and its lay representation, and with its new set of aims and objectives to restate our commitment to anti-racism solidarity, internationalism, and not just political, but also economical and social democracy. To achieve these goals, the union has to function like a well-oiled machine, where every structure has a role and plays its part in the collective struggle. The rule changes placed before you today may not seem earth-shattering or decisive in the age-old struggle between labour and capital, but believe me, they will serve to sharpen our union, to ensure that it functions more securely, with greater reach, accountability and effectiveness. As a result, the adoption of the rule changes represents yet another significant step to ensure that our great union can be the very best it can be in service of our members, their families, and our class. I second and heartily recommend you adopt this. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you for seconding it, and we wish you speedy recovery. And I'll take the delegates from each region, so it'll be London, Midlands, North East Yorkshire and Humber, North West Ireland, Scotland, Southern and Wales and South West in that order. And could I also have movers and seconders for Rule Amendment 300, 319, 325 to be ready as well. So can I have the delegate from London region, please?
Madam President, thank you. Congress, Adrian Storr, London Region, speaking in support of the Rulebook Review Report. London Region supports this review of GMB's Rulebook, which has taken another positive step forward. We welcome the tidying up of the rules that relate to the movement of money and finances of the Union, and removing rules which may no longer reflect either the employment or internal structures of today's Union. As this group has worked with the branch working party, these are practical rules which will help support our branches. These changes will strengthen and align our equality structures with our agreed national strategy and embed them firmly in our rulebook. We are reinforcing the commitment to ensure equality and diversity runs deep through this organisation, our organisation, by ensuring firmer proposals to reserved seats on our CEC and regional councils. These changes place more accountability on regional secretaries and national officials, drawing a clear distinction between the management and the governance of the Union. Following the change of our structures from the sections to two, we are ensuring that our regional structures are not weakened. These rule changes will correct the number of regional committee seats elected from regional councils. We welcome the removal of the requirements of organisers to be elected within the first 5 years of service following appointment, as these are outdated rules and wouldn't stand up in the current employment law. Our branches structures and payments of honorarias are also embedded in the rulebook, and we welcome the new wording for branch development plans, as this will make it clearer for the branches as to what their plans should include. In the ever-changing world, with the, plans should include in the ever-changing world, with the increased threat of the far right, tackling anti-Semitism, sexism, racism, the strengthening of Rule 5 challenges this and allows the CEC to refuse membership of anyone who is actively organised against the policy of the union and its members. Tightening this rule will allow our great union to ensure anyone connected to this behaviour can be refused membership by the CEC. We look forward to more discussions and more tidying up next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Delegate from Midlands. Thank you, Midlands. North East Yorkshire and Humber. Formally, thank you very much. North West Irish region. Formally, thank you. Scotland. Thank you.
President, Congress, Martin Malone, GMB Scotland, first time speaker, first time delegate. Congress, the members of the Rulebook Review Group have an inevitable task. Rulebooks can be dry and tedious, but they are essential parts of our union democracy and day-to-day running of our branches. The Rulebook therefore needs to change with times and be accurate. It should not just be a wall of bureaucratic decrees, but reflect and make clear the values of our union and our processes, rights, structures for the benefits of our managers, members, reps and staff. Whilst many of the rule amendments are simple housekeeping, they are vital. For example, clarifying and modernising the appointments of organisers mean that they reflect reality. Other amendments are even more vital, such as reserving seats on key bodies for women, will ensure equitable representation of all our members across our union. Joining a union is not just joining an external service or signing up to an insurance. It is more than that. It is a statement of intent and a commitment between workers. Clarifying new members' rights to representation and support, whilst allowing regional secretaries to use their discretion, will ensure those who make that commitment get the benefit. It will make our union one that deals not in charity but in solidarity. Congress, support the statement.
Thank you, Martin. Southern. Southern, have you got a speaker? Formally, thank you very much. And then Wales and South West. Formally, thank you. I can now put that to the vote then. So all those in favour of the rulebook amendments, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? Those are carried. Thank you very much. We now move on to some more rule amendments, but there's just been a slight change in the order of business due to a number of rule amendments being withdrawn at last night's delegation meetings, and hopefully London Region have been notified that Rule Amendment 336 will be debated after the next set of rule amendments, so 300, 319 and 325. So could I have the mover of Rule Amendment 300, please?
Yeah, I'm verbally challenged as well. Good morning, Congress, President. From the great big region of North East Yorkshire and Humber, lest him be moving Rule Amendment 300. Congress, I recognise that this is a long and technical rule change motion, but what it is fundamentally about making this Congress more representative, of the hundreds of thousands of GMB members that we are here to represent. The way the current rule book is written, it makes no sense in how, in 2025, our branches are organised. Our great union is made up of workers from across a huge range of workplaces, the majority of which are organised workplaces, but also covers where we are hoping to make breakthroughs in recognition, and equally workers in smaller companies, self-employed and those in the gig economy. All these voices are incredibly important, and it's vital that they are all heard here at this Congress. But Congress, we can't get away from the fact that the vast majority of our branches have somewhere between 40 and 2,000 members. Yet every one of these branches have the right to exactly the same representation here at Congress. This simply cannot be correct. This motion is fundamentally about making the most important supreme decision-making body of our union more reflective of our members on the ground. Let me stress, this isn't about taking away members' voices. Of course, this Congress must reflect the full diversity of our membership, but now is the time to properly acknowledge the makeup of our branches and how the level of representation these workers deserve here. Fundamentally, this motion is about making this Congress reflect our membership on the ground. In my experience, democracy is the only strengthened way we can view the views of the many. So Congress, please vote for a more representative Congress. Vote to support this motion and the voices of the majority of our members. I move.
Well done, Les. Could I have a seconder, please?
Morning. Congress President Kav Damastani from the great big region of North East Yorkshire and Humber. Durham Local Authority Branch, first-time delegate, first-time speaker. Standing to second the Rule Amendment 300. Since it's my first day of Congress, I've met great people from across the country, from a wide range of workplaces with an incredible range of experiences, all of which are making sure that we make great policy to improve the lives of working people. I only wish that I'd been able to attend before and that more of my members back in Durham could attend in the future. This is what this motion is all about. It's about allowing more of our members from our big workplace branches to have a say in the policy of the union. I echo the words of my colleague Les. Let's make sure that this event truly reflects the great diversity of our union. Let's make the rulebook fit for how we organise in 2025, and let's vote for this motion. Congress, I second.
Well done. Could I have the mover of Rule Amendment 319, please?
President, Congress, George Sharkey, London Region, moving RA 319, Rule 18, Clause 2B. Today I'd like to speak briefly in support of the proposed amendment which concerns qualifying for office and a definition of officers. Currently, Clause 2B mandates that the General Secretary, Treasurer, Senior Organisers and Organisers must pay the full amount of their union contributions during the term of their office. This ensures accountability, fairness and a shared commitment to the financial health of our union. The proposed amendment is simple but important. It adds regional secretaries to this list of accountable positions. This inclusion is not only logical but necessary. Regional secretaries play a principal role in our union structure. They are leaders on the ground, key decision makers and the face of the union in our respective areas. It is only fair and consistent that they too uphold the financial obligations of their counterparts in national and senior roles. By ensuring regional secretaries meet the same contribution requirements, we reinforce the principle of equality among our officers. This amendment strengthens our governance, improves transparency and upholds the integrity of our union, I urge you all to support this amendment, not just a rule change, but a step forward to a more comprehensive and accountable leadership structure. Please support.
Thank you, George. Seconder, formally, thank you. That mover of Rule Amendment 325, then, please.
President Congress, Anna Marie Jessen from Midlands Region, Branch B43, first-time delegate, first-time speaker. Speaking about Rule Amendment 325, Rule number 20, clauses 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, reserved seats on regional councils. It's a bit complicated. The seats on regional council have rules for who can be proposed to sit on regional council to encourage equality and diversity on the regional councils. However, the rules currently actually limit the true diversity in the potential members of regional councils by limiting seats for members of specific groups on regional councils to members who are in diverse groups who are voted onto regional equality forums. This means that ordinary members who happen to represent a diverse group must be members of the regional equality forums to be eligible for nomination onto regional council. But ordinary members who are not from specific equality groups are eligible to be nominated for the regional council. We understand that the regional equality forums help to provide diversity and representation within the regional council, but the rules are restricting ordinary members from diverse groups from being nominated to regional council. Rule 20 currently potentially places more burden on fewer individuals from diverse groups, as these members are already part of the regional diversity forums. This rule amendment would open up nominations on regional councils to a wider pool of members, whilst not restricting diverse groups, as these seats are still reserved. Congress, I move.
Well done, Anne-Marie. Thank you. Seconder.
Morning, Congress. Morning, brothers and sisters. Morning, President. Andy Humphreys, Mansfield Central, Midlands Region. I would like to second this motion, rule change, basically to open up a better understanding for the youth, so it stops the barriers for the youth into regional council. I second this motion.
That was nice and quick, Andy. Thank you. Is there any opposition to any of these rule amendments? There's no CEC speaker because the CEC are supporting all of them. So to save time, I will take all three rule amendments in one vote. So all those in favour of Rule Amendment 300, Rule Amendment 319, Rule Amendment 325, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? No, that was unanimous. Thank you. Could I have movers and seconders of 302, 303, 330 and 336 to come down the front, because we will now be debating those rules. And are the movers and seconders of those rule amendments ready? If I could have mover of Rule Amendment 302, please.
Morning, Congress. Morning, Barbara, Gary, colleagues, friends. Jan Smith, London Region, also the National Secretary of the Retired Members Association. Colleagues, this motion called on for us to be able to submit motions to this Congress. I know you've just voted for the rule amendment, but within it, although we said we could put in a motion under the name of the equalities section, or, and I repeat, or, in the name of the Retired Members Association. We try very hard and work very hard in the interest of the GMB, not only for our retired members, but we also support our younger members within the GMB. Colleagues, this is important. We need to have a voice. We need to be able to put motions forward in the name of the RMA. Within this document, it said they are taken out for national equalities to submit a motion. Now, as I says, within the motion, it said, or the National Retired Members Association. Colleagues, please support this motion. I know they're going to ask to withdraw it. Have your conscience at the best and to support this motion. I move.
Thank you, Jan. Seconder. Formally, is that? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Mover of motion, rule amendment, 303.
It's got a long way to go. President, Congress, Ian Paul, moving Rule Amendment 303 for the Midlands Powerhouse. This great union of ours prides itself on being inclusive. All are welcome in the GMB. We welcome the ethnically diverse. We recognise the valuable contribution of women. We defend the rights of disability. We fight for LGBTQ+ rights. We encourage the youth. And to make sure these voices are heard, we give them reserved seats on the CEC, and rightly so. But why don't we guarantee the voices of our retired members on the CEC? The CEC are going to ask you to oppose this motion, essentially on the basis that retired members already sit on the CEC, but the said surely can be said about every strand. If all the reserved seats were removed, there would obviously be more available for other people to stand for. But we reserve these seats so that the lived experience of those individuals can be used to formulate GMB policy and make sure that our union is truly inclusive and representative of all members. So why retired members deserve to have their voices heard on their own reserved seat on the CEC as well. They say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's not that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's just that they've been there and seen it all before. They've been there, done that, and wore the T-shirt. There is no substitute. There is no substitute for knowledge and experience. Our retired members are the guiding hand that steadies the ship. Our retired members... Oh, something's flashing at me. Our retired members have been nothing but loyal, many dedicating their working lives and beyond to the GMB. They are committed, hard-working, dedicated, and in many cases have made selfless sacrifice for the cause. Many rights that we've taken for granted today were fought for and won by those who went before. We stand on the shoulders of giants. While I respect the CEC and the hard work that they do, I believe them on this matter to be mistaken. The retired members are the heartbeat of this great union. And so in the name of inclusion and in the spirit of fairness and justice, I ask you to support this motion. Thank you. I move.
Thank you, Ian. Seconder.
Good morning, Congress. President, comrades and friends, Patricia Wilmot, Branch Equalities Officer, Regional Equalities Women's Lead, TUC National Women's Rep from the Midland Region, seconding Rule Amendment 303. I agree with my colleague wholeheartedly. This is an equalities issue. Will Thorne founded this union in 1889 based on fairness and a base for equality. The average life expectancy at that time for men would have been 40 and for women round about 50. Retirement would have been a glow on the horizon, as was equality. Fast forward to Northampton, 1922-23. My great aunt, a great trade unionist and supporter and canvasser of our own Maggie Bonfield, first female officer for this trade union and one of the first female MPs. Let's move to the 70s and 80s. My own father, when he retired, remained a branch secretary of this region and convener for his region, for this GMB. During his time as branch secretary, convener and regional council member, he took me canvassing as a child for a wonderful feminist Labour MP for Northampton. That woman was Maureen Calhoun, the first openly lesbian MP and feminist, and the GMB supported. Currently, my own branch secretary, a retired tutor from Ruskin College, whom many of you will have been tutored by, is also still working to support this union and going as an accompanying rep. He won't be alone. There were many more of you out there. In May this year, I attended my first TUC meeting representing this trade union, and guess what was on the agenda? Retirement and pensions. This is an equalities issue. Please support. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. The mover of Rule Amendment 330.
President, Congress, George Sharkey, London Region, moving RA 330, Rule 35. I speak today in support of RA 330, a straightforward but essential Rule 35, which governs how branch officers and committees are elected. Let me begin by saying this: our rules must serve our members, not hinder them. As it stands, the current rule says that elections must take place at the last meeting in June every 4 years and that nominations must be displayed in the meeting room. But colleagues, how many of our branches still rely solely on physical meetings and notice boards in a digital age? How many of us now operate in hybrid ways, using emails, virtual meetings, online communication as part of everyday union life? The amendment before you removes the rigid reference to June, allowing branches the flexibility to time elections according to the actual cycle or AGM. It also updates the outdated requirement that nominations must be displayed clearly in the meeting rooms, something that no longer reflects how most of our members receive information. In reality, nominations are now shared by email or digital notice, reaching more members more efficiently. Colleagues, this is not a radical change. It's a necessary update to ensure our union structures remain accessible, inclusive and modern. And here's why that change matters. Firstly, flexibility. Not every branch operates on the same schedule. Removing the word June gives branches the ability to plan elections that suit their local conditions, ensuring we stay democratic without being bureaucratic. Second, modern communication. The rule as written assumes that every member is physically in the same room to see nominations on a wall. But in 2025, many branches have members working remotely, across shifts, or in entirely different locations. Email and digital communication are now the norm, and this change recognises that reality. Third, and most importantly, participation and fairness, by ensuring that nominations are communicated to all members, regardless of how or where they work. We increase transparency and encourage wider involvement. That's the heart of a healthy union. This is not about weakening democracy, it's about strengthening it by making sure it works in the real world we live in. If we want our union to remain relevant, representative and responsive to all members, then we must be willing to update our rules in ways that reflect the ways we live and work today. Let's modernise our process, remove unnecessary barriers and give our branches the tools they need to engage members fairly and ethically. Colleagues, I urge you to support this amendment.
Thank you, George. Could I have the seconder for Rule Amendment 330, please? Formally, thank you. And then the mover for Rule Amendment 336, please. Rule Amendment 336, mover? No? It will fall if there's no mover. Formally. And seconded? Formally. Okay. Just before I ask for any opposition, can I just... Obviously, we're noticing the lights are flickering, but T5 are sorting it, but apologies for the disruption. Any opposition to those rule amendments? No? Can I ask Nathaniel then from the CEC to reply?
Thank you. President, Congress, Nathaniel speaking on behalf of the CEC, responding to Rule Amendments 302, 303, 330, 336. On Rule Amendment 302, the CEC has endorsed the Equality Structures Review paper, which included a recommendation to remove from the rulebook the provision to promote a motion from the National Equality Conference to Congress. The CEC has put to Congress rule changes to this Congress, agreed already that removes the provision of an equality conference. Therefore, Rule Amendment 302, as proposed, has been superseded by his decision. On Rule Amendment 303, the other reserved seats under Rule 11 addresses underrepresentation of groups of members, and the retired members are not an underrepresented group on the CEC, with some members of the Retired Members Association National Committee also holding office as CEC members. On Rule Amendment 330, affecting Rule 35, Clause 7, the review of the CEC is that this does not add anything to the rulebook and could in fact make branch administration uneven and out of sync with a long-established practice of the majority of branches across the rest of the region. Rule 35.2 already provides for the establishment and operation under these circumstances. Finally, on Rule Amendment 336, the Rule Amendment seeks to place greater responsibility on members wishing to leave the Union to inform us in an effort to improve our retention. It is certainly an idea which we would like to investigate further through the rulebook review. The branch review working parties, in addition to the region-wide consultation. Our concern in the rule amendment's current form is that it imposes unintentionally a new way of working for members of staff in the region without the necessary systems needed to support them. It is very well intentioned. Of course, the amendment is very well intentioned, and it will become part of this review we suggest. To sum up, Congress, we're asking for all 4 rule amendments to be withdrawn, and if they are not withdrawn by the regions, we are asking Congress to oppose the rule amendments. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Does London Region agree to withdraw Rule Amendment 302? Does Midlands agree to withdraw Rule Amendment 303? Does London agree to withdraw Rule Amendment 330? There's a pattern following. Does London agree to withdraw Rule Amendment 336? Okay. So as Nathaniel said, the CEC are asking you to oppose for all the reasons that Nathaniel laid out, but I will put each one of those to the vote. All those in favour of Rule Amendment 302, please show. All those against? That's carried. All those in favour of Rule Amendment 303, please show. All those against. That's also carried. That's also carried. All those in favour of Rule Amendment 330, please show. Thank you. All those against. That's carried. And all those in favour of Rule Amendment 336, please show. All those against. That's carried. Now moving on to motions 23, 27, 28 and 30, could I have those movers and seconders down the front, please, on representation and accountability. So could the mover of motion 23, London Region, please come to the rostrum.
Congress President, General Secretary, Jan Smith, London Region. Thank you all very much for carrying motion 302. It is very much appreciated. Moving motion 23. Congress, this is asking to give us a voice. We need that voice. We need that voice within the GMB. We, the RMA, work very, very hard. And as I've said previously, we support the GMB throughout in everything we do. The RMA was carried and proposed and first moved at a Congress. Like all other strands, we need to keep going. We need that voice. We need that voice to move forward. I know it is thought a lot of us don't pay contributions. I have paid contributions since 1963 and still paying them. And next month I'll be 80 years old, but still going strong. And I hope I'll go strong for a lot more years. I have stated throughout for the RMA, as long as I have breath, I will continue fighting for what I consider is our rights. Our rights within the GMB. We need that voice. And if you're not sure of what we do, I would suggest within this booklet you read page 51, the Retired Member Association, telling us exactly what our status is. And can I please remind, it gets said time and time again, there is retired members on the CEC. Yes, there are retired members on the CEC, but they're not on the CEC in their own rights. They're there under a section, the public services, manufacturing, whatever. So please support this motion. I move.
Thank you, Jan. A seconder for motion 23, please. Mover for motion 27.
Thank you. Sandy Venell, Midlands Region, speaking on motion 27. President, Congress, the CEC have asked us to withdraw this motion. We believe this motion speaks to something fundamentally, the protection of those who protect others. Our workplace representatives are the front line of our union. They are the ones who speak up when others fall silent, who challenge management when others are afraid, and who carry the weight of the representing the colleagues day in and day out. But time and again, we have seen reps subjected to malicious false accusations used not only as a genuine grievance, but as a weapon to undermine union activities. And when that happens, some employers are only too happy to act swiftly, suspending reps without evidence, without process, and without hesitation. Congress, the CEC may feel existing protections are sufficient, but let me ask, if that was true, would this motion even be needed? We are not calling for special treatment, we are calling for fairness. A basic commitment that no rep should be hung out to dry on the back of an unproven allegation. A clear position that reps must receive full GMB support, access to services and the presumption of innocence until a fair and transparent investigation is completed. Let's also be honest, when false or malicious allegations go unchallenged, it does more than harm a rep, it weakens our union. It sends a message that if you attack a rep, they'll be left isolated. That it is not the message we should be sending, not in any workplace, not in any region. Congress, this motion is a line in the sand. It says we will stand by our reps, that we will not allow unions busting tactics to go unchecked, and that we will not quietly withdraw when asked to soften the message. I urge you, back this motion. Let's send a clear signal across every workplace. Attack one of us and the whole union stands by them. I move.
Thank you, Sandy. Could I have the seconder for motion 27, please? And just before you speak, could I just let people know that we are running ahead of time, so thank you, everybody, because that means you're keeping to time on your speeches. That's really helpful. So that means we will be moving the section on union organisation, recruitment and organisation, motions 20, 21, 22, and we'll be able to fit them in this morning's session. So if you're one of the movers or seconders of those motions and you're expecting to speak this afternoon, you are now speaking this morning. So I hope you're ready. Thank you.
President, Congress, Adrian Francis, Midlands Region, first-time delegate, first-time speaker. Congress, let's be clear. This is not about placing reps above accountability. It's about ensuring reps are not left vulnerable to bad faith attacks that are designed to silence and intimidate. Those of us who have served as a workplace reps know the pressure, the long hours, the emotional toll, the battles we fight, not for ourselves, but for others. And we do it knowing that sometimes it will make us a target. We've seen it before. A rep challenges unsafe working practices, and suddenly they're facing an allegation. A rep leads a grievance, and management just happens to dig up a complaint. Coincidence? We think not. Congress, this motion simply says, don't punish reps before the facts are known. Don't leave reps isolated when they need the union most. And if someone is abusing the process to tarnish a rep, call it out. The CEC says the motion should be withdrawn. With respect, we say that's the wrong call. Because if we won't fight for our reps, why should anyone feel safe stepping up in the first place? Thank you. I second.
Well done, Adrian. The mover of motion 28, please.
Congress, Chair Fazana Jummer, Regional President from the Great North East Yorkshire and Humber region. Moving motion 28 related to policies and procedures protecting us as lay members. Congress, this motion is about treating our people with dignity and respect. I often say that we have two incredible workforces in our great union. One is our employees and the other is us, lay members, activists, organic leaders, workplace representatives and other union post holders. Our workforce cannot and does not operate or function without the other. And I'm proud of the robust employment policy and procedures we have that look after our employees. However, us as lay members, the lay side of the union, do not have fit-for-purpose policies and procedures that look after our well-being and ensure we are treated fairly with dignity and respect. Should we ever find ourselves in a situation where things go wrong, or we have to report matters under current Rule 5 and 6, and this can happen to any of us. Occasionally, when things happen, if a lay member is suspended, which is a neutral act, There is no timescale when things will be investigated by or when an outcome of some sort will be received. We have no consistent approach union-wide that provides support or allows you to have someone to talk to. My region has gone through difficult times. I'm glad I have a great relationship with my regional secretary, whereby I asked for us to support colleagues, and Andy has supported me and my regional committee in doing this. In supporting our members, we ensure they have a named officer to speak to for support, and I'm incredibly proud that in times of real crisis, we have offered counselling. Congress, we need this consistency. We need procedures that don't isolate our members, because we cannot speak to any one of our colleagues in this process, and we all understand the procedures and timescales for things and how long that takes need to be dealt by. We need to be updated and informed of the outcome as soon as they happen. If this was in the workplace, we would not allow this to happen to our member. We would support them through a fair process in a timely manner, with policies to support them and, if needed, ensure occupational health are referred to. When I talk about respect for each of us, I mean all of you who have taken the time out to be here, acknowledging the sacrifices you all make at home, in the workplaces, to carry out the vital work that you do. There has been on occasion a culture of dismissing lay members and their selfless contributions to our movement. You and all of our colleagues in our regions work incredibly hard for our union and deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. None of us are less than because we are not employees, and I'm not asking for employee status. Comments like a lay post holder has been in a role for so many years and we want someone else new in that role is unacceptable. And if they are carrying out their role in good faith and are doing well, we shouldn't be saying things like that. This is not acceptable for an employee. We won't allow an employee to do this, and we surely shouldn't allow anyone to say this about our members and our workers. You know, today we stand here on the shoulders of giants who created our great union and continue to fight for our rights and democracy, looking after our amazing lay post holders who volunteer their time to help and recruit and retain workplace representatives and ultimately make work better. Congress, I urge you to vote in favour of this motion so we can start this process of improving our rule book where all of you have a say on these fair policies and protections because we matter at the end of the day and our well-being matters. So, Congress, I move.
Thank you, Susanna. Seconder.
President, Congress, Ryan Hodgkinson speaking from the big, great North East Yorkshire and Humber region. There they all are. Seconding motion 28, policies and procedures protecting our lay members. I'm also a first-time delegate and a first-time speaker. Thank you. I believe it is vital that we as a collective, where possible, provide the most support that we can for all of our members. Not just our members, but also our lay members where possible. This strikes me as an area in particular where we are often prone to fall short of this ask and when, unfortunately, things do sometimes go wrong. Motion 28 speaks to members being left isolated and without consistent protections, members who are already in what we all understand to be a very difficult situation, sat waiting on tender hooks for a result that could have massive effects on them. Currently, these lay members will be left with no clear direction, no active communication from the union, and no standardised expectation as to how the process will be conducted. Colleagues, my own mental state would be in jeopardy at this point. I don't want to imagine anybody else going through this. The creation of union-wide policies and procedures to protect our lay members in these situations would help provide a standardised approach to help make up for these shortcomings in the service that we provide to our members, removing a lot of that mental strain on the member, and after all is said and done, as a worker and a quality-focused organisation, should this alone not be enough of a reason to move this motion forward? Congress, please support this motion. I second it.
Thank you, Ryan. Well done. Could I have the mover of motion 30, please?
Madam President, Congress, Chris Butler, Southern Region, moving motion 30, post holders' access to live membership data. Today, we address the matter that strikes at the heart of efficiency, transparency and accessibility within our branches. As it stands, branch access to live membership data is confined to branch secretaries through the membership administration function within the branch financial reporting portal. While we intend the restriction no longer aligns with the evolved realities to collaborative branch structures, branches today operate through teamwork, collective decision-making and shared responsibilities. In many branches, branches conveners, presidents and assistant branch secretaries serve as first point of contact for our members, ready to assist and advise and support them. Yet under the current system, the key post holders face unnecessary delays in variety of live membership status and for members. And in the world the world where swift responses and informed engagement matter more than ever, this limitation hampers rather than supports. This Congress recognises the restricting access to membership data is a single individual in each branch does not reflect the way modern branches function. This is overly restrictive, slows down our ability to serve members and prevents branches from working in a way that best supports those who rely on them. That is the way today. This Congress calls the review of existing provisions so that regions may extend the same level of access currently granted to branch secretaries to other essential post holders. Doing so will enhance the responsiveness and effectiveness of our branches while safeguarding the integrity of our membership data. This is not just about data access. This is about ensuring our members receive a timely, supportive and they deserve. This is about strengthening collaboration, improving efficiency, and empowering those who are in the front line of the union support. Together, let's modernise our approach, streamline our processes, and reform our commitment to serve members effectively. Let's ensure these working tirelessly in our branches have the tools they need to provide a prompt and accurate support. Congress, it is time to change. It is time to act. Let us move forward with the resolution and enhance our ability to serve our members with the speed, accuracy and integrity they deserve. Congress, I move.
Well done, Chris. Thank you. And a seconder for motion 30, please.
President, Congress, Rachel Webber, Southern Region. I speak to you today as a branch secretary who wants to help her reps. Our union thrives on responsiveness, solidarity and trust. But how can we expect our members to feel supported when the very people they turn to in a branch role, like the president, for example, are left in the dark, unable to access the information they need? As my colleague just said, currently only branch secretaries have access to live membership data through the member administration function. This model may have suited us in the past, but no longer fits the way we work today. Branches have evolved. They are now built on collaboration, shared responsibilities, and the flexible leadership roles. Yet our data access structure has remained rigid, outdated, and ultimately unfit for purpose. This limitation leads us to unnecessary delays when a member reaches out to someone other than the branch secretary. That delay is not just inconvenient, it can undermine the confidence and hinder the support we aim to provide. By supporting this motion, we are not advocating for a free-for-all. We are asking for fair, sensible review. We want regions to have the discretion to extend access responsibly and appropriately, to trusted post holders who are already doing the work and supporting members on the ground. This is about empowering our activities, modernising our operations and improving our service to members. Let's make sure that our structures reflect the reality of our branches today and not the way they looked 20 years ago. Support this motion, let's move forward together and help serve our members better. Thank you, I second.
Well done, Rachel, thank you. Anyone wish to speak in opposition to any of those motions? No, in that case, can I ask Goylan Brinkworth to respond? Give her some time to get up the ramp. Oh.
President, Congress. Goylan Brinkworth, speaking on behalf of the CEC, responding to motions 23, 27, 28 and 30. On motion 23, retired member's voice, the CEC is asking the region to withdraw the motion. The CEC approved the establishment of a new Equality Action Group at its meeting in March this year. It confirmed that our equality work is focused on where our members and potential members face workplace discrimination, harassment, lack of opportunity, workplace segregation, unequal pay, lack of inclusion because they are disabled workers, young workers, LGBT+ workers, women workers or ethnically diverse workers. Our retired members do have an important voice in our structures, often in branch secretaries' roles. Senior elected lay officials on the CEC, regional councils and regional committees, and through the work of the Retired Members Association, which reports to Congress each year. On motion 27, protecting GMB representatives, the CEC is asking that the motion is withdrawn. We recognise the importance of the issues discussed within the motion, and it is absolutely right that where the GMB reps are targeted by hostile employers, they should and would have the full support of their region to allow them to do their union duties unencumbered. GMB reps have the right under law not to be victimised for their trade union activities and can rely on the support via their regions to challenge such behaviour. We do not believe it is appropriate to have a blanket policy intended to cover all investigations, as every individual situation a rep faces will be very different. It is important that regions, officers and branches are able to respond to every unique situation. On motion 28, policies and procedures protecting our lay members, the CEC is asking for this motion to be referred to the Rulebook Review Working Group to consider. Any recommendations, subject to seeking advice from the union's legal advisors, will be added to CEC guidance issued under Rules 5.12 and 6.2 rather than the rulebook itself. Finally, on motion 30, post-holder access to live membership data, the CEC supports the proposal to allow additional post holders to access the member administration function. Our qualification, however, is that this is subject to consultation to determine which post holders may be granted access and the level to which they are granted, the level of access to be granted. Congress, to recap, CEC is asking that motions 23 and 27 be withdrawn and that motion 28 is referred and that you carry motion 30 with the qualification I've outlined. Thank you.
Thanks, Goylan. Does London Region agree to withdraw motion 23? I didn't think you would. Does Midlands agree to withdraw motion 27? Does North East Yorkshire and Humber agree to refer motion 28? As long as we have a seat at the table, yes. Is that an accepting the refer? Yeah. Thank you. And does Southern accept the qualification on motion 30? Thank you. Because that motion 28 has been agreed to be referred, I don't take a vote on that. There was no opposition, so I don't take a vote on the refers. Okay, everything else, the two that have been withdrawn, the CEC will be asking you to oppose those motions. So on motion 23, can I see all those in favour, please show. Thank you. All those against? That's carried. All those in favour of motion 27, please show. All those against? That's carried. And on motion 30, which was support with qualification, which they accepted, all those in favour, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? That's also carried. We can now move on to motion 20, 21, 22, which I said had been moved from this afternoon. So could I have the movers and seconders of those three motions, please? Motion 20, mover. Dave.
Excuse me, sorry, conference. Where's it gone?
Do you want to? I'll take the next motion, Dave, and
No,
you can go.
I'm seconds away from it.
Okay.
Sorry, Barbara, I'm ready now. President, Congress, Dave Levy, London Region, moving motion 20. This motion calls for the CEC to look at the Union's privacy policy. The privacy policy is an artefact mandated by the GDPR and then by the laws that implemented the GDPR within the UK post-Brexit. A little considered fact is that the GDPR introduced 6 lawful purposes for the collection and management of data, and one of these is consent. There are 5 others: contract compliance, public vital and legitimate interests. At least 3 of these might apply to GMB communications. The GDPR, in fact, weakened consent as a lawful purpose by creating alternatives. It superseded both the previous data protection laws and the EU's privacy and electronic communications regulation, known ubiquitously as PECA. It is from these previous laws that we developed the need to collect channel consents, which is where you tick off whether you're prepared to accept emails, phone calls, or SMSs. Allowing these channel consents to override lawful purpose is the wrong way round and costs significant amounts of money and reduces our ability to serve and inform our members. Except for the mandates from TOLRA, it's not the law that restricts us from using email or text messages, it's the privacy policy. As for the qualification, I think there was a misunderstanding. We did not mean to suggest the current policy broke the law, but as I've just explained, we think we can do better now that the GDPR and its UK implementations are better understood. Let's develop a privacy policy that acknowledges all 6 lawful purposes and allows branches to use email to communicate with members for branch business, even if we have to supplement it with real mail for those for whom we do not have email addresses. Perhaps we should insist on email addresses, as we do for residential address and for workplaces. It'll make e-balloting safer and cheaper when those become legal. I move. Thank you, Congress.
Thank you, Dave. Seconder.
Hello, President, Congress. I'm Jamie Walker from the London region, and I'm seconding 20, privacy policy and e-voting. Dave's covered the main part of it there about the GDPR and the policy privacy update and requirements, but we all know that the challenges of engaging our members in ballots and elections are still there. Traditional postal voting methods, while reliable, often fall short in reaching our diverse and widespread membership effectively. To reach out to our members by e-voting isn't just a matter of pushing a button, though. We do have the technical and legal challenges ahead, which is what Dave spoke about. Embracing electronic voting as part of the New Deal for workers isn't just about modernisation, it's about inclusivity and participation. Apart from it being much easier, it's much more immediate. How many of our members, and I'm sad to say I'm done it as well, have picked up a ballot from the post, put it down somewhere, thought I'll do it later, and then blame the activists when it doesn't go the way that we wanted it to? Well, they say their views aren't accurately responded. Well, with e-voting, the immediacy works in our favour. So by updating our systems and privacy policy to allow for secure, GDPR-compliant electronic communication, like we already do with our mass email policy, We can empower our branches and the National Union to connect with members much more effectively. This isn't just a technical adjustment, it's a commitment to ensuring every member has a voice and the means to express it. So Congress, please support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Mover of motion 21, please. And well done for everybody having their speeches ready for this morning.
Thank you. Taranjit Chan, London Region, moving motion 21. Congress, a fundamental pillar of our labour movement is union recognition. It's not just a legal term, it embodies the very essence of solidarity, of empowerment and the rights of workers across the world. Union recognition is a formal acknowledgement of employers of a trade union as a representative body for the workers. The recognition is crucial for several reasons. One, it empowers the workers by gaining a collective voice. We can negotiate better wages, safer working conditions, and fair treatment. There is a protection of rights. Union recognition ensures that workers' rights are upheld, provides a structure for addressing grievances and disputes, and fostering a culture where employees feel safe and valued. There is also collective bargaining. Union recognition gives the union the right to engage in collective bargaining on behalf of our members. Historically, Congress, we have seen the resilience of workers, including those from across the shores who've come to this land, who've faced opposition, intimidation, and even violence and abusive tactics, fighting for the workers, for the rights of all workers in the workplace, and also their unwavering belief in solidarity, which have led to significant victories. Examples such as in 1968, the Dagenham Ford women machinists, 1976, the Gromwich dispute, where South Asian women, led by South Asian women, fighting for the rights of all workers, where GMB Desai, who was the leader of the dispute, her feet were run over by the manager in a car deliberately. In 1992, we also saw the Brunswick workers in Smethwick, again South Asian women, fighting for the rights of all workers. Recently, a big win at Heathrow T4, securing official recognition, giving power to bargaining for pay and conditions. Congress, we stand on the shoulders of giants who fought tirelessly for the rights that we enjoy today. But also in today's rapidly changing economic environment, the importance of union recognition is more relevant than ever. The gig economy, remote working, and technological advancements present new challenges to us as workers. As we navigate these changes, we must ensure that union recognition remains a priority no matter what form it takes. So Congress, let's all work together to ensure that every worker has a right to organise and their voices are heard. Union recognition is a commitment to justice, equity and dignity in the workplace. It indeed is also a cornerstone of the trade union movement, a symbol of our collective strength and a testament to our shared values. Together, we can build a future where every worker is recognised, respected and empowered through union recognition. Please support this motion.
Thank you, Taranjit. Seconder.
Thank you. Unmesh Desai, London Region, seconding. Congress, the dispute with Amazon has shown how the statutory procedure for union recognition introduced some 25 years ago can be frustrated. So we need to review and demand an overhaul of this legislation. And why? I'll tell you why from my own personal experience. My political journey started with the Grudwick's dispute in the late 70s. I was standing on the picket line. That dispute showed me the need for a strong independent union. But a strong independent union can only happen if a union is recognized in the first place. So when Taranjit outlined the importance of union recognition, providing safety and solidarity for workers in times of insecurity, we cannot allow employers' campaigns to resist recognition go unchallenged. So yes, we have the Employment Rights Bill, but that does not go far enough in this respect. The power of union recognition, it seems, remains firmly with the employers. So Congress, I say today, do not allow employers to recognize a non-independent trade union at the expense of independent unions. Congress, let us campaign to allow making a fresh claim for union recognition following an unsuccessful application after 3 months, not 3 years. Congress, please support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mish. A mover of motion 22, please.
Good morning, Byron Cook, Midlands Region, moving motion 22, workplace recognition agreements. This motion has come as a direct result of an ongoing issue that we had in our branch. And I've lost my paperwork. That's good, isn't it? Sorry. Tell you what, let's do it this way. This motion has come as a direct result of an ongoing issue that the branch is currently having with a local employer, which was a recognised workplace. We all know what a recognition agreement is and how it benefits our members' pay and working conditions. We had a member come to us saying, I want to be a workplace rep, as there are some issues happening with the employer, and a number of members are getting fed up of it. The employer, who manages recycling centres, has a number of other sites with workplace recognition agreements in place, following movement from the public sector to the private sector. Not a problem, we thought. We spoke to the employer, advising them that we've got a workplace rep, or we've got a member who wants to be a workplace rep, at which point they said, you're not recognised on this site. Oh, but we are. And this is where the problem arises. The original recognition agreement, which is over 20 years old, cannot be found. So now we're having to fight for recognition with the recruitment of members to reach the threshold. And now the employer is putting pressure on the members. It's a 20-year-old document, but this motion shows that this could be avoided if it was kept if the recognition agreements were kept. All right, thank you. I move.
Well done, thank you. And seconder, please.
President, Congress, I proudly second this vital motion, one that speaks not just for the workers' rights, but for fairness, dignity, and proper representation in the workplace. GMB is not just a union, it's a voice for the voiceless. It stands shoulder to shoulder with working people, from hospitals to schools, from warehouse to workshops, demanding decent pay, safer working conditions, and respect on the job. But that voice is only as strong as the recognition it receives. That's why I fully support this call on all employers to formally recognise the GMB through a clear Spotify style recognition agreement. Simple, transparent, standardised across the board. No more grey areas, no more confusion. Workers should know instantly if their employer values their right to be represented. Recognition isn't radical, it's reasonable. It's not disruptive, it's a dialogue. And today's world, no employer should be allowed to duck or dodge those conversations. Let's pass this motion, let's stand for fairness, let's ensure every workplace hears GMB loud and clear.
Well done, Ian, thank you. Does anybody wish to speak in opposition to any of those motions? No, then can I ask the CEC Speaker, Paul Hunt, to give the reply?
President, Congress, Paul Hunt, responding on behalf of the CEC to motions 20 and 21, which we are supporting with the qualification. Firstly, on motion 20, this motion offers an opportunity to revisit our policy to ensure we continue to operate correctly in this area. However, our qualification is that the union already undertakes electronic communications in line with GDPR requirements. Secondly, on motion 21, The CEC supports the strengthening of the statutory recognition scheme to include an amendment so that the existence of a recognition agreement with a listed but not independent trade union is no longer an impediment to statutory recognition of an independent trade union. This is to prevent the use of sweetheart deals being reached to prevent independent unions from being able to apply for statutory recognition. We have hopes, but also concerns with the changes to recognition, namely concerns with the suggestion that non-independent trade unions may be granted rights of access. The CEC supports the removal of the 3-year limit for reapplying for statutory recognition, which has put great pressure on our ability to organise over the years. The qualification is in respect of the time for a new ballot, as we have previously suggested 6 months based on our members' experience in Amazon. Some organisations, such as the Institute of Employment Rights, have suggested 3 months, and while there is not too much to choose between them, a 6-month period gives us a bit more time in which to regroup. Therefore, Congress, we are asking that you support both motions 20 and 21 with the qualifications I have laid out. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Does London the region agree the qualification to motion 20? Yes. Thank you. And the qualification to motion 21? Yes. Thank you. And the CEC is supporting motion 22. So I'll put those to the vote. All those in favour of motion 20? Thank you. Anyone against? That's carried. All those in favour of motion 21, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? That's also carried. All those in favour of motion 22, please show. Thank you. That's also carried. Thank you, Congress. That concludes our first session of business for the week. But before you go, I'd like to show a short solidarity video from our sister trade unions, Comisiano Obreras in Spain, and it's a video of Cristina Fasabed. So I think that's going to be shown now on your screen.
Hola, soy Cristina Fasabed, soy la secretaria de Internacional Cooperación y Migraciones de Comisiones Obreras de España y quiero trasladaros un saludo fraternal y toda nuestra solidaridad en vuestro congreso, en el congreso de la GMB. Como sabéis, en España tenemos un gobierno de coalición progresista con el que hemos logrado avances en materia laboral, una reforma laboral que restituye derechos para las personas trabajadoras y muchos nuevos derechos sociales. Pero eso no ha sido gratuito, ha sido gracias al esfuerzo enorme, a la lucha, a la presión que hemos realizado desde comisiones obreras, desde el sindicalismo mayoritario en España. La lucha, el esfuerzo, la presión tiene frutos positivos. Es necesario mantener la lucha y os queremos trasladar todo nuestro ánimo, toda nuestra fuerza para que seáis capaces también con vuestra lucha conseguir beneficios sociales, beneficios laborales con vuestro nuevo gobierno laborista. En ese sentido, solo desearos la mejor de las discusiones durante vuestro congreso y animaros a mantener la lucha. All our solidarity.
Okay, so it's lunchtime. There's plenty of fringe events going on, and see you back here at 2, please. Thank you.